The early morning sun was just beginning to creep over the horizon at Offutt Air Force Base, casting a faint amber glow across the tarmac. A thin mist lingered over the concrete, still holding on to the chill of the Nebraska night. Inside the hangar, the hum of ground equipment and radio chatter created a constant, familiar background rhythm. But today was no ordinary day. Today marked a milestone in U.S. Air Force history, an operational mission crewed entirely by an all-female team aboard the RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft. Captain Rachel Monroe zipped up her flight suit and adjusted her gloves, glancing once more at the mission brief pinned to the wall. She had memorized every line, every coordinate, every protocol. Not because she had to, but because she demanded of herself. A former instructor pilot with over 1,400 flight hours, Monroe wasn't just a pilot. She was the mission commander, and she carried that weight with pride and precision. Walking out onto the flight line, Monroe was joined by First Lieutenant Naomi Park, the co-pilot for today's sortie. Park was sharp, composed, and known across the squadron for her uncanny ability to anticipate problems before they happened. Beside her strode Staff Sergeant Eliza Ward, one of the mission's primary airborne systems operators, a role that demanded focus, expertise, and the ability to translate real-time data into actionable intelligence in a matter of seconds. Together, they approached the RC-135W rivet joint, a sleek and powerful aircraft bristling with antennae and sensors, purpose-built for signals intelligence. It looked almost aggressive under the rising sun, its matte gray fuselage bearing the proud insignia of the U.S. Air Force and the squadron's emblem just under the cockpit window. On the tarmac, the rest of the crew was already running pre-flight checks. Senior Airman Jasmine Lou called out engine readouts from the auxiliary power unit as the ground crew confirmed the bird was clear for taxi. Technical Sergeant Carla Rodriguez double-checked the electronic warfare systems, while Sergeant Lynn Howard calibrated the onboard sensors. Once aboard, Monroe moved with habitual efficiency. She made her way to the cockpit, running her fingers over the instrumentation as she settled into her seat. Naomi took the right-hand seat, powering up the avionics. Behind them in the cabin, the mission crew took their places at workstations surrounded by flickering monitors, dial displays, and dense streams of real-time intelligence data. Each member of the crew had trained for years, overcoming countless hurdles in a male-dominated field. And while none of them had asked for recognition for being female aviators and specialists, they all understood the quiet weight of today's symbolism. With engines humming to life, the aircraft taxied slowly out onto the runway. Tower gave clearance, and Monroe eased the throttles forward. The roar of the engines intensified, vibrating through the airframe. The RC-135 accelerated, wheels thundering against the tarmac before lifting smoothly into morning sky. They were airborne. Inside the cabin, the tone shifted from anticipation to execution. Sergeant Ward began monitoring the signal's intercept systems, picking up early electromagnetic activity from the edge of the mission zone. This mission would take them close to contested airspace, not into it, but near enough to gather key intelligence while staying safely within international boundaries. Every system on board had a role to play, and every operator was critical. Captain Monroe kept the aircraft steady, navigating with precision through their assigned corridor. At this altitude, the horizon stretched endlessly in all directions, a canvas of blue sky, and white cloud broken only by the occasional contrail or radar return. Naomi Park read out periodic updates, verifying position, altitude, and signal strength as they closed in on the target area. Aboard the RC-135, everything was a balance of pressure and performance, monitoring the aircraft systems, managing power distribution, coordinating with ground assets, and analyzing real-time feeds. Each crew member was locked into their task, headphones on, voices clipped and professional over the comms. SIGINT package inbound, Ward announced, routing an intercept to Rodriguez's station. Copy. Cleaning it now, Rodriguez replied, fingers dancing across the keyboard, isolating a suspect transmission. Above them, Monroe listened quietly, aware of every change in tone or tempo in the cabin. She'd flown missions over Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and the Pacific. But this flight felt different. It wasn't just about the mission. It was about showing that excellence had no gender. Down below, clouds drifted silently over a vast ocean, the Earth a patchwork of islands and current trails. The aircraft remained steady, its sensors capturing electronic emissions, radar pings, encrypted comms, and background signals, every piece of it useful to analysts thousands of miles away. The RC-135 was, in essence, a flying intelligence center, and its operatives today were among the best in the Air Force. At one point, Rodriguez turned sharply. "Jasmine, verify that spike on Channel 3. "Affirmative. Looks like an anomaly. "I'll cross-reference with Elent logs," Lou said. Another spike, then a series of pulses, intermittent but distinct. This was no atmospheric noise. They were seeing real activity. "Captain, we've got a live target signature in the East Quadrant." Ward called out, her voice calm but firm. "Maintain current heading. Keep recording and flag the transmission." Monroe instructed. The atmosphere inside the aircraft became focused, quiet, a kind of silent urgency born from experience. The data stream pulsed steadily, a treasure trove of information, every blip on the spectrum holding potential secrets. "Ground link confirms receipt. We're green across all bands," said Sergeant Howard. Monroe nodded, watching her instruments while scanning the horizon. Their mission profile required them to stay airborne for nearly 8 hours. They rotated rest cycles and shifts, with Rodriguez stretching her legs as Lou took her station for the next intercept sequence. In the galley, Park grabbed water for the team, checking in on their mental and physical condition. Long missions like this required stamina, as much as skill. As the aircraft curved along the final segment of the route, the crew began collecting their final sweeps. Every burst transmission, every EM spike, every radar echo, it was all logged, categorized, and transmitted back to command. This data would eventually inform national strategy, fleet movements, and even diplomatic negotiations. On descent, Monroe radioed tower for landing clearance. The cabin came alive with final checklists and system resets. Naomi verified fuel burn, flaps, and gear, while the back-end crew secured their stations. Off at tower, Rivet Joint 35 requesting approach vector. Monroe said into her headset. "Rivet Joint 35, cleared for runway 24. Winds calm. Welcome home." The RC-135 descended smoothly through layers of cloud, wheels lowering as they lined up for final. The runway stretched out ahead, and with a gentle touch, Monroe brought the aircraft down. The tires kissed the tarmac, and the reverse thrusters engaged, slowing the jet as it rolled to a smooth stop. The all-female crew had completed their mission flawlessly.
Only when they're standing there with something on. Ground movement left. Go ahead.